Oh, why hello. You have caught me enjoying a good read. Experimental psychology. Of course you know it is I, the original piledriver. Let me adjust this camera for a moment. You may notice the headphones around my neck, because I've been watching some videos on my laptop computer. And I have been working in the Fruity Loops studio. That's right. I'm working on a beat to put to a hip hop track. A musical score, if you prefer. Who am I kidding? I'm screwing around with the Fruity Loops program. My bro XBA told me about it. He's like, dude, it's a good program to use for beats and everything. So I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I go into it. I'm thinking, why not? Seems cool enough. Check it. Yeah. About to spit something stupid. That was so funny. Gotta admit. No, but this is basically. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's a one shot thing, I think maybe, but I want to continue to do it more and more. A movie review I just watched, which by saying this, it's funny and sad at the same time. The Chaperone, featuring Paul Triple H Levesque. Okay, so now everybody in WWE movies are gonna have their first name and their wrestler name as their nickname, and then their last name. Cool, whatever. Actually, I gotta say, I was very surprised with how much it didn't suck. I mean, it's not some big hit movie, no, but it didn't suck completely. I mean, kind of, but I mean, for what it was, I think it was a pretty decent movie. There wasn't a lot of violence, of course, because it's like a PG audience. Um, it was pretty good though. I think. I mean, it was way better than I thought it might be. Same with Knucklehead featuring the Big Show. Those movies, it's like family movies. Now, what WWE needs to do is actually put forth some real money, work with some real people. WWE Studios needs to get like guys like Jason Statham to do a movie with freaking John Morrison. Think about that. I mean, you got Jason Statham running around like doing his little like transporter moves, and then you got John Morrison doing all the flippy do stuff. So it'd be a good fit. Who knows if he's a good actor or not? But I'm just saying, stuff like that, or have like, I don't know, who's funny in the WWE right now. I was gonna say Ken Anderson, but he's in TNA, so he's. Um, wouldn't it be cool to see Ken Anderson in a movie with like freaking Adam Sandler or something, buddy movie or something? I don't know. No, shoot me for saying this, but a romantic comedy would be another genre they could delve into. It seems like all they've been doing is family movies, with the exception of Steve Austin and John Cena, which John Cena's movies don't count as movies. Okay, 12 rounds. In my opinion, The Chaperone was better than 12 rounds. Well, in a sense, I had the same story plot. Triple H's character was an ex-con, not broke out of prison. He was released from prison after 7 years of being linked to a robbery, and then he's released, and he goes back to his old ways because his daughter's like, "F you, dude! I don't want anything to do with you," and all this and that. Um, and he goes on and he goes on, trying to like, "Oh, please, please, let me be with you in your life," and all this and that. And basically, he ends up being the chaperone of the field trip that his daughter's school is going on, and there's this case like his old buddies he fell on hard times because he had nothing. His apartment that he had burned down, and so he had nothing. So he fell on his old crime buddies, and then he was in the car, and which just so happened to be parked in front of a bank, which just so happened to be next to the school his daughter goes to, which just so happened that the bus was in the parking lot, and all the kids were filing into it as he was in this car. That was kind of a dumb setup. Okay, he's in this car, with his buddies. They're gonna rob a bank because he's got nothing left. He's like, might as well turn to crime again because it's worthless to try, and blah 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 blah. Which is funny that a bank and a school are like right there together. I mean, call me stupid, but isn't that kind of odd for a bank and a school to be right next to each other? Just saying. Um. Anyway, then he looks at his daughter getting on the bus, and he's like, you know what? Screw this. And he had told the teacher a little bit before that scene that he was going to be the chaperone. He volunteered himself. So his teacher's like, okay, cool. And then so he gets on the bus. His daughter doesn't see him at first. Then they start going down the road. And his daughter's like, oh crap, my dad. She hates him, and all these wacky events happen. And the guy that had the guys came out of the bank, and they're like, oh, where'd he go? Because of course he left the car and got on the bus. And he threw the keys in the woods or whatever the hell it was. And so they're like, oh, there he is. He's on the bus. And the other guy walked around the bus and then stumbled over the baggage because they were putting the kids' bags onto the bus. So of course the money gets mixed in, kind of predictable. So everybody's on the bus, and the other two guys left see him because the first guy gets caught because he was running, and he just loses the money. And he's like, screw it, I'm going. And he leaves, and he gets hit by the cops. Like he like runs out in the street and gets boom hit by the cops. Of course, he gets taken into custody and all that. And then they're like, oh, tell us where the money is. I don't know. Or whatever. And he stumbles around and mumbles, and he's like half conscious. And then the other two guys are like after him, the Triple H character, because they see him on the bus and the money, they know the money's there because he walked around the bus. The other guy walked around the bus with the money, came up the other side without it. And then the bus left. There was no bag of money laying there, so they knew he had the money. And Triple H, of course, didn't know. And then this huge thing of the guys trying to get the money. And then they kidnap his daughter, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, spoiler alert. I just pretty much told you the entire movie. Basically, in the end, it's a story about his daughter accepting him again and him trying to prove himself to his family and everything and whatever. But, yeah, out of 5 stars, I'd say it's a 2.5 at least, a half, because it, wasn't a very solid script. It was a generic story of, oh, I'm a changed man. No, you're not. Yes, I only prove it. I admit 12 rounds, and the Marine had more action, but the Marine, John Cena was the star of the Marine, and T-1000 had more screen time, I think, and it was funny in that fact. But the Chaperone wasn't too awful. Like I said, I give it a 2.5, and I don't have very high standards for movies. Because going into it, I knew it was a WWE film, so it can't be that great. But the funny part about all this, like I said in the beginning, was it was on Netflix. Not in the mail, but instant Netflix. So I'm thinking, the movie just came out, right? And a week ago maybe, if that. And you can already watch it on instant Netflix. If you have a Netflix account and you know what I'm talking about, you can go on and search for The Chaperone, and you can watch it instantly on your computer or your Xbox 360 if you have Xbox Live, or the Wii or PS3. You can watch that movie online right now if you have a Netflix account. So, or if your buddy's got a Netflix account, go to his house and get it, whatever. But it's not too bad of a movie. It's same with Knucklehead. Knucklehead is on there too. Those seem to be family movies, and what WWE needs to do is do like a romantic comedy. Do a full comedy, not like a feel-good comedy with like the Knucklehead was a comedy. Excuse me, I'm getting hot. Let me take this thing off. Knucklehead was like one of those Forrest Gump type feeling movies where there's funny in it, but yet it was a good wholesome story of a guy in an orphanage who never left the orphanage because he had nothing to go to, so he stayed there until he was like 30-some years old, 40-some years old, and then he ends up adopting the kid that respects him. Spoiler, sorry, sue me. Okay? But are you Charlie Sheen? You gonna sue me for not getting to see the movie? It's like he's suing for his contract. Oh my, I didn't make all my money, hoo-hoo. Whatever. Like you need it. Anyway, going on, they need to do other types of movies. Now, See No Evil was like a horror flick or whatever. I never watched it. Don't care to watch it. Anything that I've ever heard about that movie was negative. From everybody I've talked to that has seen that movie, it was bad. So, I take their opinions and I save my time. Sorry, Big Red Monster. Your movie sucked. But I say WWE, go for better movies. Go for bigger movies. Go for like stars. Like I said, Jason Statham, John Morrison. Like freaking Jackie Chan and Rey Mysterio. But they're not going to take the mask off of him. But, I'm just saying, try different stuff instead of the same old things. Instead of like the feel-good movies or the rushed action movies that the storyline makes no sense. And there's not much story or depth to the story. Just a lot of boom. A lot of boom. Boom. Don't be Michael Bay and go boom, boom, boom. Because Kofi Kingston's irrelevant, and I'm the original pile driver. That's been my thoughts on The Chaperone, baby. Until next time.